Welcome to Cohesive Friendship Unit. My name is Chris. I'm here with Jeremy
Hello.
and Brian.
What's going on?
2020, guys. Everyone's favorite year, am I right?
Hell yeah. Best ever.
Best ever. Well, 2020's over, so I think it's time to reflect on 2020 from a video game perspective. And before we get into all that cool stuff, please consider subscribing. We'd really appreciate your support. If you found this video good, throw us a like, and let us know down below what your thoughts are for 2020 as a year. It doesn't have to be about video games. I know it's all positive, you know? Okay, so video games, 2020, was it good?
Not really. I mean, all things considered, it wasn't terrible.
I was thinking of, I think that's where I want to start, because I was thinking about that, Brian.
But it wasn't exceptional either.
But
it was. But all things considered, it could have been a lot fucking worse.
Yeah, let's think of all the industries that just got absolutely fucked. I'm thinking the movie industry. I mean, tourism,
right.
restaurants, foodie shit. You know, people who do anything outside. They all kind of got burned pretty bad, and I think video games, I mean, shit got delayed, but for the most part, I think people were in general just playing more video games than they had. I know I played more games this year than usual, and yeah, it was tight. I don't know, I don't think it damaged the industry like it did a lot of industries. I think it bolstered it significantly.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're looking at it in terms of just units of video game, however you want to cut that up, consoles or digital downloads or whatever, but in terms of things coming out, the new consoles came out, which everybody was expecting, and they were they were impressive, but they weren't anything that was really unexpected or
Yeah, I mean, they're really good, though.
They were impressive in terms of the specs, but it's not like it was completely unexpected.
It was time for new consoles.
The Switch was kind of something that was okay, this is different, and that's not really the way that it went. But something like that, if the Switch had then become the console that everybody used.
Yeah.
You know, like a revolutionary thing, or even something that's close to that. It wasn't a bad year though.
I think what's exceptional to me about we can talk about the consoles. I think what's exceptional to me about the consoles is that there is the price range that you have to work with. I think this is the first time that there's been this broad of a price range in a positive way. Is you can get a Series S for $300. A PS4 digital for $400, or a PS5 or a Series X for $500. There's a wide range of options. I think that's good. And Microsoft is not actively shitting their pants. So I think the Xbox One just sucked so hard at launch. That shit had a Kinect bundled in with every single one. And I think this is a much more positive start to a generation than both of those systems, honestly. I don't know.
More positive, but I agree with Brian in that just less exceptional. It's, although Microsoft isn't actively cacaing in their shorts, I think at no previous time has it been so clear that what is the purpose of having two of these? They're so identical at this point. The third party titles are so identical.
Wide.
What's up?
One is tall and one is wide.
Yeah, and that's about it. One is white and one is black.
But yeah.
But on what basis? They're identical. What are they competing on? Other than the fact that Sony has exclusives and Microsoft really doesn't. There's hardly competition as it is.
Yeah, I there could be more distinguishing factors between the boxes for sure. But I guess the flip side to that, the flip side to that is, and I think we're already kind of seeing the fruits of that labor with the PS4 and the Xbox One, though, because those were basically just PCs. They were kind of cheap PCs, basically. Yeah. Whereas the PS3 had that custom CPU that no other hardware design was using, and in previous generations were also using super proprietary stuff. Now that they're basically all just PCs, I think that's helping everyone, including on the PC side. I think that's why you're getting backwards compatibility this time around. I think that's why the PC ports have generally been stronger. I don't know. I think it's easier to develop for, basically. But
Agreed.
I'm no game dev. I don't know. But yeah, consoles. Well,
you almost wonder what could have been though. Like with so much capability, you're happy to just like get it, but you like with all of the studios that Microsoft bought, that hasn't really shown any fruit yet.
Not yet.
You gotta wonder if they were like, we're gonna do it in 2020, but because of all this pandemic shit, we're just gonna wait until and just like do the conservative thing and not really try to shoot the moon with this.
No Halo. Who needs it?
Right. Well, I mean, but really, they have the Master Chief Collection on Steam. Like,
hell yeah.
You know, who needs it? Exactly. It's Xbox, but you know.
No, I meant who needs
it. They have another course that they can go that's not really groundbreaking. You got to wonder if this was supposed to be kind of the year for all of these plans to come together.
I do think this was supposed to be for a lot, like I think for Nintendo as well, who basically has nothing this holiday except re-releases of Wii U games. I think there were a lot of higher ambitions, I guess, for this year that did not come to fruition. I think a lot of shit got delayed.
Well, that and kind of like VR, it was almost like I was really expecting this to be like the VR year.
Yeah.
Like, where you saw the beginning of like huge mainstream acceptance of VR. And I think it picked up a lot, but not really to the degree that I was expecting.
So, yeah, actually, I'm ready to shift to VR. I do just want to say, kind of agreeing with Jeremy and you, Brian, that it is a little kind of curious, right, that we didn't see something more innovative out of Sony and Microsoft from the Switch, just because they were so eager to hop on the Switch or on the Wii, and once the Wii was a success, and now that the Switch is a success, I guess I would have imagined some kind of like Xbox One portable. I guess that's what xCloud is, kind of. I would have expected like some kind of PS4 Switch, but I don't know. Didn't happen.
My impression was that the PSP was never a huge success, or the successor console, whatever the fuck that was called.
The Vita?
Yeah.
You didn't have a Vita?
They sold
no.
a few of them. Like there weren't a ton of them, but they weren't uncommon.
It succeeded in Japan.
Was it profitable?
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, Brian, on VR, I think this was a really good year for VR. I think this was, well, good and bad. I think VR has taken off considerably since the Oculus Quest 2 came out, but that only came out in September, which is why I think it kind of reflecting what you said. Like, right, it's picked up, but it hasn't really taken off because it's still fairly new this year. But yeah, I mean, $300 for that for a really good VR headset that's also a PC VR headset, and Half-Life Alyx is Valve developed AAA game basically. I think those were two big ones for VR.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was expecting that to be a much bigger deal than it's turned out to be so far.
I think people just haven't played it because they can't.
Well, yeah, because like the market penetration just isn't there,
Yeah.
and like, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. It's like so many fucking other things with 2020. We'll just have to see next year. We'll try again.
I mean, we'll have our game of the year for sure, and Jake and myself have played Half-Life Alyx, so we'll see how that shakes out. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if Jake gives Half-Life Alyx his game of the year. But I don't know. I'm not Jake. I'm not the man behind the curtain. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Do you have anything on VR, Jeremy?
No, I mean, I agree. Starting to see more penetration. I think in a certain way, like it was VR's like best year yet. I think it's just, as you guys pointed out, not everyone has one yet. It's still really only pretty aggressive gamers that are picking them up. But that's starting to change. So who knows what the future will hold. If you're a VR owner, I feel like this was a pretty good year for you.
Yeah, it was. I mean, at least speaking personally, I'm the happiest I've ever been with VR, having been with it for 7 years now in varying degrees, and having had very mixed emotions with it in those 7 years. This is definitely the year where I think the vision is starting to consolidate into something concrete and good consistently, instead of something that makes Jeremy throw up in my bathroom. But
Fill it out yet.
yeah, I guess another thing that I've kind of been thinking about a bit, and I didn't think I would miss this, but now I guess seeing how it's all being handled, I am missing it. We can talk about E3 specifically, because I don't really think that's ever going to come back, but all these big shows, there wasn't like a week dedicated to video games or big blowouts or a consolidated effort by like a publisher. Games were just kind of like dropped on Twitter and shit. Like even a lot of the next generation stuff was just like dropped in a tweet or just like a random trailer. And I don't know, it feels we're going to get the Game Awards this year, and that's like going to be the one big show, but I kind of miss the kind of stupid bullshit fanfare of it, even if it is kind of cringe.
Well, it's like going to a concert,
Yeah.
buying the $40 T-shirt that you're probably never gonna wear again, and
It's like
but
watching the Oscars.
It's part of the experience, right? Exactly. Like
Which,
there's
big yikes.
live people there, and with game stuff, you never know if the shit's out there sometimes, and crazy shit happens, and then that's not going to happen in a tweet. That's not going to happen in and even if it happened in like a streamed event, everybody would know it was staged.
And it's
there's an air of being genuine to the live thing that's not there with them.
I think I like the Christmas morning effect, right? Where you're just like inundated with announcements. There's all this cool new shit, so much that you can like hardly keep up with it. And when you get like one random trailer for like when Nintendo comes out and they're like, "Hey kids, guess what? This holiday you're gonna play Pikmin 3 for the $60, which is more money than we charged for it when it came out." Like that doesn't ring as well as when they would have a whole rollout of like, "Oh, we're gonna have Pikmin 3, we're gonna have fucking Game & Watch, we're gonna have this Mario game," like all in one presentation. I don't know. It just like is weird.
Well, it makes sense that like I get more excited when you see the whole list of things, because you kind of feel like, oh man, all this good stuff is coming, and like even if I don't like every single thing, there's a lot of different titles and all that. I definitely see how that contributes to the excitement. On the flip side, it's kind of interesting that individually, I agree, a lot of the games that come out are like not particularly exciting on their own. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting. It speaks to a lot of things, I guess.
Yeah, it's. I was just thinking, it's like it makes it like a business deal. Like if it comes out in a tweet, it's like, "This is what we are selling to you. We hope that you will buy it."
Yeah, and to Chris's point, it's like, oh, like if it were in an award show, it's like, oh, Pikmin 3, that's cool. But like, it's like, would you like to purchase Pikmin 3? It's like, yeah, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, I guess the last thing that I had in mind, this might be a little cringe. I don't know. Well, maybe we'll edit this out. We'll see. No, I guess I want to maybe lightly examine the idea of 2020 and the lockdown and all that, having kind of reintroduced a casual audience to video games where that may not have happened. I'm just out loud thinking of, in particular, Animal Crossing. I know that shit was hot fucking fire for like months. That was so many of my friends in Philadelphia who aren't video game players bought a Switch just for Animal Crossing, and they probably wouldn't have done it if it was 2019 where we were able to like go out and hang out at bars and stuff, because of that. Partially you're at home and you need something to do, and partially it is pseudo social. And I guess the other one that I'm thinking of is Among Us, which we've all played together with other people as well. And even though that's like a mobile game, I still don't think that game would have taken off in 2019. And it feels like some people, not quite a Wii era level, but there are more people who would not be playing video games that are playing video games now.
I mean, kind of to an extent. Like, I think people, yeah, like, I don't want to get philosophical with this, but like, you're prone to doing like what you're already doing. You know, like, you're not gonna. I don't see it as, okay, I'm quarantined or I'm locked down or whatever. Like, I'm gonna do as close as what I can to what I would normally be doing. And for me, that's like usually just playing video games. So there was really not much change. But like, people, they talk about like board game sales going up and all this other shit. Like, I don't think that people necessarily turn to video games. I think it probably got a bump because like it's an obvious thing to do. Like, you're stuck at home, you get the computer in front of you or the TV in front of you. What else are you gonna do? So I don't think it was that. It wasn't as strong as like, oh yeah, it's a huge thing that we didn't see as many casual people playing video games as. Because like there's also a point, like, if you start playing video games because you're stuck inside and you're casual, there's a point where you're no longer casual because that's like what you do.
Yeah.
So like, you have to draw that line. It's
right.
I don't think it's as strong as you might initially think. And Among Us, like, that was just a marketing frenzy. They did really good with getting the quote unquote influencers
like
on
us
board with that. Yeah, totally. I mean, like, that game, it's not really that much fun.
I like it.
I don't think it's that much fun. Like, there's way better things that you could do.
Reminds me of Avalon.
Yeah, but not like the good parts.
Ooh, burn. Well, what do you think, Jay?
I kind of agree with both of you. Like, I think necessarily people being cooped up inside, they look for things to do. And I definitely have kind of heard people talking in quote unquote real life about wanting to pick up a Switch or something. And particularly with Among Us, like, I agree that is /was mostly a marketing thing, which is, I guess, how any individual thing takes off for the most part. But it's had a cultural impact. Like, I know people who don't game who I've played Among Us with, and like, I don't know, it's not my favorite thing either. I kind of like it. It's a good time, but certainly I think people have been doing a little more gaming than maybe they had in the recent past. And I do think that the Switch was like well positioned to take advantage of people, maybe, a renewed interest in a slightly broader audience. I would be curious to see what the sales figures for the year are like for the different consoles.
Oh, they're all ridiculous. Everything's off the shelf, which is actually the last thing I did want to talk about. That I have a dedicated video just kind of frustratingly ranting about, but it is, for one reason or another, call it stock shortages because of the virus, call it poor planning, call it scalpers or bots or whatever, but it has been almost impossible to get your hands on anything. Like, it's hard to get a hold of a Switch. Back even before the new consoles came out, it was hard to get PS4s. Just like in July in Philadelphia, it's hard to get graphics cards. You can't get anything right now, video game wise, and it's frustrating. And I don't know. I know that this always happens. Like, this happened with the Wii, right? Like, new shit comes out. It's just, I don't know. It's just, it is frustrating though.
Just think for a second about like how many people had to be involved in making whatever that is, and like how many places that chain can break.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's bound to happen. Like, even it's.
And the chain's fragile.
I get what you're saying. Like, are you trying to manufacture demand by not like intentionally slowing down production and just say it all? But like, it's supply chain disruption is like a huge thing.
Yeah, and you're right, Brian. It is partially that. I am very sympathetic to a supply chain issue also. And the thing that I was particularly frustrated about, that I assume a lot of people are also frustrated about, is that I think a lot of people would be happy with like ordering a PS5 right now and them being like, you're going to get this in February. You order it now, it'll come in February. That way you order it and like it's out of sight, out of mind. I think what's frustrating is people who have to, you know, show up to the stores multiple times to try to get, and this is the retailer's fault, right? This isn't the manufacturer's fault. It's, no, we're not going to let you back order it. You're going to have to like get one in the store, and you're going to have to show up every day and like waste a lot of your time doing it.
Gets people in the store.
It does.
Yeah, it's like I was just
shitty,
thinking,
though.
you gotta want it. Like
Everything's
you gotta
shitty, dude.
Everything is shitty.
PS5, you gotta show up every day. Like,
I mean, yeah, it's super first world problems, but like, I don't know, it's annoying.
It is annoying. I agree.
but
And it's a
like,
win-win for everyone involved. It's a win-win for the manufacturer if they have, you know,
it's
demand exceeding supply. It's a win for the retailer.
It's not though. Like the demand is not exceeding supply because they're producing at their maximum rate and they can't keep up with it. It's exceeding supply because they're way below like what's going on.
No, I agree, but that in a way is in and of itself a win. It's not like that is a disaster for these companies. Like being sold out of everything and having this kind of frenzy of, you know, excitement is not really a losing position, especially when they're way above projection. So it's like, I mean, they're not losing out, is all I'm saying, you know?
No, I mean,
And the retailer
don't
isn't
get me
either.
wrong, my heart's not bleeding for Sony and Microsoft or Walmart or whatever, you know, Amazon.
They treat
like,
everyone so well there. Jeff Bezos is carrying those PS5s on his back from Japan to
uphill
your house.
both ways.
Yes.
That would be cool. I would pay to see that. That would rock.
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos carrying a PS5 uphill both ways from Japan
I was
to
thinking-
your house.
No, like
I
Death
was thinking
Stranding
from
style.
Japan to my house.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That
There'd
was
just
it.
be a
Just
lot
one.
of him peeing then, wouldn't it?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yep. And he'd have to carry a baby too on his belly.
That happened. Was that this year or was that?
Death Stranding was last year, but it is so reflective of this year that it's like scary that now everyone is, because like the point of that game is everyone is unable to go outside or unable to like interact with each other, so they isolate and you deliver things between them. Like you're a courier because you're someone who can like you're immune, so to speak. I don't know. It's a lot.
That's going to be us
received
when we
the
get the vaccine.
Yeah.
You
We're all
work
gonna
for
agree.
Moderna.
Hideo Kojima, you've done it again.
Done it again. You predicted reality.
Yeah, okay. I think we're good then. I just wanted to. We do this every year. Want to have a little powwow, and we will be doing a what we want for 2021 for video games. So yeah, you can look forward to that this week or next week, depending on when I edit this. But until that video comes out, what should our viewers be doing, Brian?
Well, if you actually enjoyed 2020,
Mm-hmm.
you know, go ahead and put that and why down in the word box there so that you can enlighten all the rest of us. And like Chris said at the beginning of the video, if you watch this far, you know, you probably liked it, and we do come out with videos pretty regularly that you might also like, so you might as well click subscribe. You know you want to. And throw us a like if you liked it. Let's smoke them if you got them, guys. Hopefully the 2021 goes better. But we'll have to see.
All right.
That's all for me tonight, Chris.
On that note, thank you, Brian, and we will catch you guys next time.